Good morning, I'm Prarambha Dahal. Let's begin with the main stories. Government steps back from addressing the issues of the victims of loan sharks. Prime Minister Dahal turns towards the court for solutions. Upcoming Vice-Chancellor of Purvanchal University faces several challenges. Soldiers' responsibility of putting an end to political interventions and random affiliations. At least 17 killed and roughly a dozen more injured in an accident involving two buses on a highway in western Honduras. Road accidents are the second cause of death in Honduras after murders. And Nepal women's national football team will be without star forward Savitra Vandari in the WAF Women's Football Championship final against Jordan. Match to kick off at 9:45 p.m. Nepal time. The government seems to have stepped back from dealing with the issues of victims of loan sharks. Prime Minister Dahal has turned towards the judiciary, which he says would be better at addressing the demands of the victims of loan sharks who reached the capital on foot after an arduous justice march of 23 days. Speaking at a parliamentary committee meeting, Prime Minister Dahal suggested that the court would play a better part at concluding the issue. Prime Minister Dahal has said the government has already formed commissions and that necessary laws had also been established. Meanwhile, discussions between the Struggle Committee and the Ministry of Home Affairs is in progress. At the same time, victims of microfinances have also been staging protests demanding justice. Over a dozen victims even breached the Parliament building on Monday this week to pile pressure on the government. In light of the event, Prime Minister Dahal said the government had taken the situation with the seriousness. However, the victims say they want results. Likewise, in regard to the issue of repatriation of Nepali in the Russian army, the Premier said he was informed of the situation late. So far, 16 deaths have been reported by the families of the deceased. The Premier has said that the families of the deceased would be compensated. However, the repatriation of Nepali nationals stranded in the army is yet to be ascertained. The committee members also asked the Prime Minister regarding the status of Nepal-India EPZ report, to which he said preparations were underway to publish the report. The Premier also informed that discussions were underway for a tripartite agreement for the British Gorkha soldiers. Victims of loan sharks have said that the government has delayed addressing their demands and have added that they will continue their protests until their problems are resolved. The victims have grown agitated after Prime Minister Dahal hinted towards the court to resolve their issues. Third meeting between the victims and the government held at the Ministry of Home Affairs in Singhadarbar had ended with basic discussions on the demands. The Struggle Committee of the Farmers Against Loan Sharks and Fraud have alleged the government of trying to confuse the victims. The victims have shared their grievances regarding what they say is the lack of government seriousness towards their problems. They have been demanding erasing of their loans without interest for poor farmers, and formation of a judicial commission. Leaders of CPN-UML have met with Minister for Home Affairs to urge against filing cases against the victims of microfinances who had barged into the federal parliament and staged a protest. They have said the victims were compelled to take up such measure as they were helpless because of lapses on part of the home administration. Leaders met with Minister for Home Affairs Narayan Kazi Shrestha and urged for an unconditional release of those detained for staging protest. The leaders also said the government had failed in maintaining security and criticized the government for troubling the pedestrians by barring movements in the footpath of federal parliament, among other sensitive buildings. CPN-UML has also urged the ministry to ensure that the plight of the victims of loan sharks is addressed. CPN Maoist Center has been increasingly dissatisfied with coalition partner Nepali Congress in recent time and has been making efforts for new ties with opposition CPN-UML, which is evident by the frequent meetings between CPN Maoist Center chairperson and Prime Minister Dahal and CPN-UML chairperson KP Sharma Oli in recent time. The main opposition has called Prime Minister Dahal's recent activities as the strategy of his party, while Nepali Congress has understood it as Prime Minister's UML card. Maoist Center has been concerned regarding the issues raised at the Mahasamiti meeting of Nepali Congress. Nepali Congress, meanwhile, has already decided it will not form any alliance in the upcoming elections. The Mahasamiti meeting also concluded that the national development was halted because of Maoist revolution. Half of Congress members had also signed in favor of reinstating Nepal as a Hindu state. It is understood that Maoist Center is in a state of dilemma and fear because of these issues. Meanwhile, the sour relationship between Prime Minister Dahal and UML chairperson Oli have softened in recent time. Dahal and Oli have been holding talks at Balotar and Singadarbar. The two leaders have also been appearing together at several public programs. However, UML has claimed the meetings between Dahal and Oli could not be defined as the dawn of a new political alliance or equation. Nepali Congress has claimed that the coalition has been moving forward as per the agreement and has added that the coalition would not change in near future. It has also warned that the move of appearing close to UML could come back to haunt Maoist center. Meanwhile, analysts say UML chair Oli has been making efforts to split the ruling coalition since its formation, and with issues between the two surfacing, Oli could be aiming to reap benefits. Selection process for a new Vice-Chancellor of the Purvanchal University is in progress. A total of 18 applicants have furnished their applications for the post after the recommendation committee led by Minister for Education had called for applications. Political intervention is the major challenge for the new leadership at Purvanchal University. Established under the modality of multiple universities, officials have so far been appointed at the Purvanchal University from outside. Professors are of the opinion that the standard of PU has been on a decline because of such appointments who do not prioritize the long-term interests of the university. Political interventions have plagued all departments of PU. In its embryonic stage, the Purvanchal University was focused in the eastern region of the country. However, under pressure from the ministers, the university began issuing affiliations in a random manner. Despite the expansion of the scope of the university, it has been alleged of financial irregularities related to affiliations. Another major challenge facing the upcoming VC is ensuring the implementation of the academic calendar. Despite the lapse of 3 decades since its establishment, the university is yet to prepare its academic calendar. Delay in admission process, academic sessions and publishing of results have been affecting the entire academics of the university. This has also led to the reduction in the number of students at the uni. The new leadership of Purvanchal University will require to amend the Act and regulations of the university while putting an end to the situation which leads to protests from the teachers, students and officials. The internal structure of Purvanchal University is very weak. Purvanchal University also needs to revise its courses and curriculum and make it time relevant. The students have currently been denied quality education and employment opportunities because of lack of revision in the courses. Lack of research-based study and human resource for developing question papers and checking answer sheets are also among several other challenges for the upcoming leadership of the university. And now, before we wrap up, here's a look into the top stories one more time. Government steps back from addressing the issues of the victims of loan sharks. Prime Minister Dahal turns towards the court for solution. Upcoming Vice-Chancellor of Purvanchal University faces several challenges, shoulders responsibility of putting an end to political interventions and random affiliations. At least 17 killed and roughly a dozen more injured in an accident involving 2 buses on a highway in western Honduras. Road accidents are the second cause of death in Honduras after murders. And Nepal women's national football team will be without star forward Savitra Bhandari in the WAF Women's Football Championship final against Jordan, match slated for a 9:45 p.m. kickoff Nepal time. That is all for the moment. Our next news bulletin airs at 6 p.m. Thank you for staying with us. Have a beautiful day ahead.